Are you a pediatric dentist? An oral surgeon? Maybe an endodontist? If you're an associate, I bet you make a ton of money. And you don't have to do any of the things like marketing, finding a dental practice, billing insurances, managing staff, or any of those other headache-driving things that drive business owners completely bonkers. Your role? You breeze in, you see a bunch of patients, you treat them to your best capabilities, and then you go home and get a big fat check for your efforts. Sound about right? I know how it works. I was in the same boat. I was making close to 7 figures being an associate endodontist. So it seems that life is pretty much set, right? I mean, you make a lot of money, you can pay all your bills, you make way more money than the average person in the world. So what could go wrong? So how is it when I interview high income producing specialists like oral surgeons and they reach retirement age? Why do so many of them work so hard and see so many patients and work so many days? I promise you that the driving motivation is not because they love to do it. When I interview them, when I was writing this book right here, which is available for free download, just look in the description below on the video, or when I talk to dentists and doctors about retirement goals and where they are. Why are oral surgeons so disproportionately represented in retirement age dentists that continue to work through injuries? They work through family obligations. They work through stress, burnout. If they had an entire career where their incomes that even other general dentists would blush at, forget the general population, why is it that oral surgeons don't all become exceedingly wealthy by age 65? Why are they still pulling the long hours at the clinics? And why are they so miserable? I tried to figure this out. In this video, we are going to break down the answers to this problem, as well as give you solutions so that you do not become the prototypical high-earning broke specialist. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm Johnny Walker. I'm a successful endodontist and a self-made millionaire in real estate investing. On this channel, we teach doctors and high net worth professionals on how they can achieve financial independence through investing in real estate. Investing in real estate for me over the last 13 years has allowed me to build substantial wealth, take a step back from my clinical practice, spend enormous amounts of time with my wife, watch the miracle of my children growing up, as well as go on 6 to 10 vacations per year. It also allows me to do what truly inspires me, investing in real estate and teaching my fellow colleagues on how they too can benefit from investing in real estate. Now let's go back to the original question. Why is it that so many high income associates end up having to work well into their retirement years? I mean, the average age of dentist retirement is 69 years old. The average American retires at age 63. And 70% of dentists depend entirely on one source of income. That one source of income happens to be their ability to do dentistry. Now, what happens if that ability to lose dentistry goes away? That means 70% of you would be incomeless. So how does this happen? One reason is income creep. Income creep means your lifestyle starts to expand, and so do your monthly bills as your income starts to expand. You can afford expensive coffees. You can upgrade your travel. You could upgrade your hotels that you stay at. You can do more vacations. You can drive a bigger car, live in a fancier house, have all the fancy gadgets and tools and iPhones and all of that stuff because you can now afford it. Let's go into a story. Now, this is a true story of a periodontist. He actually wasn't a periodontist. He's another specialist, but I changed some of the details so that I can protect the anonymity of this person. But again, this is a true story. Now, this periodontist, he had a big house, 4 floors, indoor pool, elevator, outdoor pool. He had not 1, not 2, but 3 Lamborghinis. He had a red one that he kept in New York for when he traveled to New York for business and pleasure. He had another one he kept parked in Miami for his frequent trips to Miami. And he kept one parked in front of his mansion at home. He used his black card to buy lunch. And no one ever questioned how wealthy this guy was because he showed it. He had the fanciest clothes, cars, houses, trips, everything. He was a great guy on top of that. Pleasurable, personable, worked well with patients, well liked by his workmates, colleagues, and auxiliary staff. Then one day he dropped dead. He was no more than 46 years old. at the time of his passing. He left behind his wife, 2 young, beautiful daughters, and at the time of his death was when the finances peeled back. The tide came in, so to speak. He had no assets. He had been the sole source of income for his entire lifestyle from his active job as a periodontist. He was greatly uninsured at the time of his passing. And as a result, his widow had to give back the cars, give back the jewelry, stop going on vacation, take the kids out of private school, and foreclose on their mansion, and they now live in the basement of their parents' house. And you know what the biggest tragedy about this whole thing is? Is that this could have all been avoided. And having a good amount of insurance to cover you is number one. But even more important, by just siphoning 10 to 20% of his earnings into cash flowing investments throughout his lifespan as a clinician, this terrible situation could have been avoided for himself and his family. I would even argue at that level of income, when you put away 10 to 20%, if done right, shouldn't change your lifestyle at all. And the biggest thing is that his story is not that different from many specialists out there. Obviously, many of us probably, God willing, won't die a tragic, untimely death in the prime of our careers. But if we follow the same path in terms of not investing in the right assets and depending completely on your income, you too will end up working until you're 70 years old. Or you have to take a big decrease in the standard of life that you're accustomed to. Less vacations, less expensive schools, less expensive cars, less expensive homes. If you stop working, then so does your income as an associate. So this is the biggest drawback of being an associate specialist. We have no passive income. We have no diversity of multiple streams of income coming in. We are not building equity. We have the big misunderstanding, at least I know I did, is that high net income does not equate to high net worth. In fact, dentists are the ones that are most likely demographic to be a high income earner and be the least likely to achieve financial independence, which is a travesty. It has to do with our lack of education and finances. In our professional schools, it's taboo to speak about money, right? It's impolite to speak about money, so we don't discuss it. And as a result, we graduate and we don't know anything about investing. We don't know what we're supposed to do with our money. That's what subscribing to channels like this is. You're taking back the power for yourself. You're getting knowledge. Knowledge is the key to making great investments. The business owners that we spoke about, the guys that do the management of HR, the guys that do the billing, the insurance, they do the hiring of specialists, at least they're building equity in their business. Because end of the day, a big source of a nest egg for many business dental practice owning dentists is they have a nest egg in the practice that they build. And once they sell it, they can use that as a source of retirement income. As associates, we don't have that. This is why it is imperative that we must learn to invest and invest right. But as high income earners, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to take untimely risks. We don't have to invest in things that we don't understand. We don't have to invest in things that are of high risk. All we have to do is stick to tried and true principles that other wealthy people have used and done. Investments that predictably spit out cash flow that can be collected monthly or quarterly. If you have income coming in, passive income coming in quarterly or monthly, this decreases your dependence on active income and working as a specialist. Building cash flows and building wealth is our only path to financial independence. Having a well-disciplined regimen of saving 10 to 20% or more of your income and parking it in cash flowing, wealth building, tax advantaged passive assets consistently, in just a few years, you will build wealth that you would have never thought was imaginable. On top of that, you'll be able to generate passive income that will exceed your monthly expenses. And that is the key that you need to exit the rat race and live a life of true freedom. To learn more about wealth building strategies, click on the next video. See you next time.